this is how you create the project. You come here, you specify the dimension 1000 by 1000 if your destination video will be square. But if your dimension will be for, let's say, Instagram, you want to specify the dimension for Instagram right here. So, but we are going to do 1000 by 1000 because you want a square kind of design. So now here you specify the name. Let's just call it sample social or social sample. Okay, so and then you click create. After creating, then you can just come right here and draw a shape. So under your rectangle tool, so rectangle tool, you are going to draw a shape. So the shape you are going to draw now is going to be the dimension of what you want. So let's draw a shape. So I will click and tap on this particular image, and then I can specify the dimension. So that will be 19, the width will be 1920 and the height will be 1080. That's 16:9 dimension. So I click on OK. So you see that the dimension is a bit bigger. So I click this selection tool, I drag it up, I go to the edge here, I click on shift, then I drag. If you see, if you click on shift, it's going to be collapsing, not at the same time. Like it will be relative. Like, so I won't do that. I will click up Command Z to return it back. Then I will hold on Option, that is Alt key. Then I will drag it so that I can resize it equally in different dimension, or in the two axes rather. So now I have this for the video. Then I click enter. So this is okay here. I can centralize it by click Command A, then I centralize it at vertical and then horizontal, and then on the vertical line, so on the vertical plane. So if you look at these edges are having a curve. Let me deselect Command D. These edges are having small curve at the edge, but if you don't want the curve, just come here under this property settings. If you can't find it, just come to Windows, and then you see properties here, just select it. You will have this window right here. So I can change all this one to 0 0 0. So you see that there is this pin here. If I disable it, I can only increase this size independently. Can you see that? So but if I click on it, any changes I make to one side, it will affect the other part. Right? So can you see? So I'm going to return that. So deselect, then I set it as 0. So I'm going to drag this up because probably I want to put some text here. So we can just put some sample text. Let's say you are going to write anything you just want to put underneath. I don't know why it's not showing. So let me delete that. Let me just leave it this way. Let me just type any text. So for example, this way, then I can reduce the size. All right, so let's say social sample, for example, if that's all you want to do. So I have here, I can centralize it. Then if I have any other text, so I can do that. I just add that close by, call it so 12. So make that a bit smaller. So this just for the sake of if you have anything you want to add. So I'm just giving a random sample of anything you want to do. So yeah, so I can just take this, centralize it, and then I'm good with that. Increase the size. So now let's deal with this part now, which is the major part. So to create this transparent background, so what I will do first is I will come to this background layer here. I will deselect this padlock by clicking on it. Then I will click on command, then I'm going to click on this next rectangle here. This next rectangle here, you see this stuff here, it's showing me the sign. Once I click, it's going to give me the dimension around this stuff, right? So after doing that, I will just click this mask too. Once I click mask, look at what happens. So it's going to mask it towards that side. Then, but what I want is, if you disable this part, you will see that this is the part we can see of this particular shape. But if I want to see other parts except from this side, so if we click here on this mask and click command control I or command I or mark, so then you will have this reverse stuff here. So do you get it? So you have this reverse stuff here. So then you can go file, export as png, then export. So you can just save it to, let's say, desktop here, and I just say save. So if I come to my Premiere Pro, I can just drag that sample here, then drag it on top, then drag it. Oh, sorry, I need to create a new project that is that square dimension. So I'm going to do new project. I want to call it social sample. So I say create. So it has created a new project. So I can drag this file right here again. So I can drag my sample videos to right here. So I have it here. So now I can then go to file, new sequence. So then I can specify the dimension I want here. So just say social sample sequence. Don't just mind, just click on OK. We can change the project sequence. Come to sequence here and go to sequence settings. Come under this dimension here. This is what we are going to change. So we change this to 1000 by 1000, right? So I click OK. So you have this square. Then you can drag your video to this part. I just say keep existing settings so that it won't change this square. So keep existing settings. Then I will drag this shape to the top. Let's drag this back. Let me close this. Then if I drag it here, so towards the end, then I select on this video underneath. So I go to the video underneath, I go to effect control, then I will scale it to fit in this particular frame so that we can have something like this. So I will still shift it to the top. The video I'm using is not exactly 16:9 video because I added a kind of cinematic bar. If you look at the video right here, so there's this kind of cinematic bar I added, so all these parts are blurry. So you see this ratio is a bit cropped, so that's why you're having all these black edges here. I hope you'll be using a 16:9 video, then you have everything you want right here. So that's basically how you can create a frame over your video right inside of Photoshop and bring it inside of Premiere Pro. See you later.